Ang bahaging ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Smart Sports. Mabuhay teammates, ito ang Basketball Universe at ako si Bill Velasco. Nakausap ko ng masinsinan si Doug Kramers tungkol sa kanyang buhay bilang basketballista, ama, negosyante at kolektor. Pero ang pinakamatingkad na namin pinag-usapan ay nung muntik na siyang mamatay sa isang stroke noong 2016.
When I did my bench press, as in literally one, I felt so tired. And then Kendra was very small at the time. Then I said, you know what? Why do you look like you just took a shower? I was sweating profusely after one. And then I had to go like this. And then I tried to stand up. I staggered to my left. Like my left side was very heavy. And then I shouted for checks. I fell to the side, couldn't control, and I just vomited, and I couldn't move. And then eventually, after like 30 minutes, checks was like, "Are you gonna die on us? What's happening?" And then nagpapanik na talaga.
Ang bahaging ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Nickel Asia Corporation. Ngayon naman, buuin natin ang aming panayam sa tahanan ng Team Kramers. Doug, first off, yung paglalaro mo sa Ateneo, that seemed to be like magical and memorable. What made it that way?
I think the struggle and the climbing of the hill, so to speak. You know, my time in Ateneo was 2002 to 2006. That's like almost 20 years ago na, from my last year. And I guess it was still normal for players to go through 5 years at this time, but looking now, parang bihira ng mga 5-year players. But it was a process for me, and it helped me grow because my first 2 years in Ateneo, especially my first year, I was bangko.
Yeah.
To the word bangko talaga, as in
Dulo
talaga, and people were bashing me, Atenista.net, you know, Butterfingers yan, Tisoy lang yan, ganon, nakuha ko na lahat yan. But you know what, it didn't affect me. In fact, it pushed me like, oh, that's what you guys think of me. And so it was a 3-year to 4-year climb of just coming in the gym early. I would arrive 3 p.m. at Moro Lorenzo, work out, get stronger, and then I'd shoot around 4 to 5 p.m. I'd be in the gym lifting weights 3 to 4, shooting 4 to 5, and then I'll rest, and then we have training 6 to 8. That was the grind until my 4th year when Coach Norman came in.
Yes, okay.
And it culminated, fortunately and unfortunately, to that game 1 of Ateneo UST, where Coach Norman diagrammed that amazing play where God gave me that amazing moment in UAAP history to 1 second down. I still get tagged if there's 1 second. Oh, Doug Kramers play. I'm like, oh, Coach Norman play. But then, that journey of parang struggling, and keeping at it. And then, so funny how they used to call me Butterfingers, and that was a half-court pass from Maki Escalona. And catching it and releasing, and up to now it's still goosebumps. It's 19 years ago, guys, but it's still very fresh in my mind. Unfortunately, we lost that series, but it propelled me much higher. So that was an amazing experience with my alma mater.
But was the plan really to go to PBA?
No. Because when I was in high school, my dad was in the Army before, and my brother went to the Navy. So in high school, I said I actually wanted to be in the Navy SEALs. And I was keen on that until my last 2 years in high school, where I started to improve in the Baguio City level.
Baguio.
And then parang for me, when I set goals, I like to set goals first which I can reach. And then once I reach that goal, I set a new benchmark. So when I became one of the better players in Baguio, my first one was to make Ateneo. And then from Ateneo, made the lineup but wasn't good enough. My next goal was starting 5 and it took years. So parang my PBA sights only started, I'd say, on my last year, 2006. And that's, people were still doubting me. They were saying, yeah, he might be good enough towards the second round, ganyan. And every time I read that, I never got disappointed. In fact, I said, sige, you guys really think of me that way? So parang it pushes me more. And right after my UAP stint, went to Cebuana Lulier, to John Henry Lulier's team. And I got mythical power forward. So I was the best power forward in the country entering the pros. And that propelled me to the PBA. And then new goals na naman. So kami ni JC yon, sabay kami.
JC and
Yeah,
Tal.
JC and Tal. Yeah.
And then in the PBA, you know, you played for a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
Which one gave you the most, the best memories?
Yeah. Actually, I enjoyed a lot of the teams that I played for. Unfortunately, you know, entering in the PBA, Air 21 during that time, you know, they were mixing up players, trading their more veteran players and getting new ones.
Yeah, lagi naman.
Yes, and then when I went to Powerade, the international bosses didn't believe, the one that took over here didn't believe, so they had to sell the players. I eventually ended up in Petron and San Miguel, but it was fun time for each team that I played for. But your question was, which did I have fun? You know, Bill, for me, I have fun when I play. Because as a basketball player, you know,
That's what you want.
You want, like some people, they say, I want to win championships and yeah, that's nice. But for me, I want to play and win a championship, right? That feels better. Not because I'm not happy for the team or I'm being selfish, but you know, I want to make sure I want to celebrate and also parang I did something also to contribute.
Yes.
So my times that I really enjoyed was, I'd say, the most was my Powerade and Barako stint.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoyed my time. Don't get me wrong. I good friendships, you know, all throughout the teams that I played for. But like I said, I played the most during those times, and I was able to really prove myself in the pros during that stint.
And then when did you decide na that's enough, I want to retire already? That's always so hard to do.
It is. Ako, Bill, puhunan ko is hard work. I was never so athletic. I was never so, like, people think I'm tall, but I guard guys that are 6'9", 6'10". Yan ang tall. So I was considered undersized for my position.
A tweener.
I was never create your shot with so much dribble. I was never like that. And then I was never naman a three-point shooter. So ang puhunan ko was my hard work. And the time that I put, and I would be first guy in, last guy out. But towards the end, I just found myself, you know, getting a bit parang complacent.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, and I was team captain when I was at Phoenix, and they wanted me to still play, but I felt like instead of me trying to squeeze out every penny I could, parang I felt like I didn't want to shortchange the management. They treated me so well, Dennis Oy, RTZ, and I just said na parang, I think in a few months I will check how my heart is.
Okay.
Because of course I have to consult my wife, and I just wasn't enjoying the game as it was before, and the fun and then the hard work. If it's not there, like, what am I? I'm gonna drag myself to training all the time, and yeah, it was 12 years. Bill, to be honest, I could have played till 15, 16, 17 years. I could have, but I just said it's not fair for the young guys to see a supposed hard worker proving myself in the pros because of my hard work and not putting that much time and effort. It's not fair. So I decided to take a step back myself rather than being pushed off.
Was you're having a good education and not really needing to play basketball a factor?
I mean, whatever course I took in Ateneo, I don't think it's what I'm doing now. But in terms of finishing the job, being responsible with the blessings I've been given, those are the things that I learned from my school, and being a man for others.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what I took from college more than the diploma. So when, of course, part is the financial, like how am I gonna sustain and everything, diba? So part of the struggles during my PBA was actually we were in debt most of the time. And people don't know that, but not in debt because of luho or anything. It was more of when me and my wife were talking, we said, let's invest. And to the point now we were over-investing. So sometimes we would be negative on months because we had to put money in real estate, we had to put money in this investments. And yun yung naging struggle namin throughout my first 10 years. And after a while, like towards my 11, 12, my last years, and then even after that, the fruits of that hardship started, bumabawi siya. So that gave me peace towards towards the end of my career. Like, chosen really good real estate, so properties and other investments that really blossomed towards the end. And that's been carrying us. At the same time, God's grace, up to now, we're on the digital space. As our family, Team Kramer, they've been following our family for the longest time. Since 2013, Gavin was a 1-year-old. And up to now, like, they continue to follow and support us. I think, and I think it's because of the unit. Our family, how Cheske and I, we love each other. We're so sacrificial for the kids. We let our kids be children, and parang we're just a family that people, parang broken families are everywhere. And I think that's why they're still with us, because they see that there's a family that's God-centered and just a very Filipino family. Yeah.
What's the plan ever since for your kids to be in sports?
Probably not the first 8-9 years kasi they're so young. We made them try different sports. They did taekwondo, they did jiu-jitsu, arnis, soccer, ballet, lahat-lahat na. And then they just settled on later on, Kendra, mga 11 years old, for swimming. Scarlett did taekwondo for 3 years, then she shifted to tennis. Full-time now. Then Gavin did a few sports, but now he's already on basketball. And I wanted the desire to come from them. Like, as a parent, our job was to expose them to different sports.
Impose.
Yes, expose, do not impose. But then as a parent, you also see what your child's naturally good at. And then you support with the coaches and see how it is. And then ultimately, we settled on those sports that they're playing for.
How hard is it for you to be a sporting dad?
Very hard, especially they're playing different sports.
Tsaka yung mga referee.
Well, right now, I don't want to... The referees, like, it's a non-controllable factor, right? You can't control them. But what I'm very big on for the kids, I don't... Like, for basketball, I tell Gavin, I don't care about the misses. I want to see your attitude and your effort, because those are the things that you can control. I said, shots that will go in, that's repetition. But it's your attitude and effort that will bring you to the court every time you want to. And I think for 2 years, I told our kids, you guys like your sports pa. Like, the keyword is like. But the moment that you truly love your sport is when daddy and mommy doesn't have to tell you to play. You bring yourself to the court. You look at videos, you study people that are very good. And then that's when I truly see na parang, oh wow, the 2 years, 3 years of putting them into sports and then getting trainers, parang that's when the fruits of their labor will start to come out. Yeah.
So hindi ka nakikialam sa mga coach?
I will not pakialam in terms of technical stuff, Bill.
Okay.
But there's a very common mental aspect to sports. And I can bring a lot of that.
Okay.
So how you can focus in before, how you can block out distractions. I've gone through all of that. How you can be far more detailed in terms of approaching your sport, because I went to the professional level. I know what it takes there. And it's really down to the details and repetition. So I have to put that to the kids. But in terms of like, you played bad, ganyan, no, I'm not like that. I said, you could have done better because you were not focused before. I could see that. Mga ganyan.
May distractions.
Yes.
Okay, but from a personal perspective, do you see yourself ever coaching? Or wala kang pasensya?
I always say no. But recently, so I've been retired since 2019. Around 2023, a lot of guys started messaging me about basketball and inviting me to play. And it sort of rekindled something again. But what I did was for 2 years now, every 2 weeks, I gather professionals who are still in the PBA and PBL, imports, guys in college, NCAA, and PBL guys in high school. And I invite them personally every 2 weeks, and we play here at the school nearby. And I lead them to Bible studies.
Nice.
10 minutes before our runs. And then I get a referee, we play. So every 2 weeks, not coaching, but I'm mentoring some guys. And that brings a lot of fulfillment for me because I feel like whatever I learned this past 12 years plus 5 years in playing basketball, I know that my journey can be of help for others. The testing I went through can be also a testimony for others. So right now, that's what I'm doing on my Sundays, every other Sunday. In fact, the other day, guys like Matthew Wright came in, Greg Slaughter, a lot of guys talaga. And I'm just so happy because they come in, they sit down for the Bible studies, and we compete basketball still at a very high level.
Course.
And I enjoy that. And I enjoy them asking questions and, batuhan ng ideas and everything. So it's very nice.
What about your faith? Why do you feel that that's central and very important to you, especially when you had a stroke?
When I did my bench press, as in literally one, I felt so tired. And then Kendra was very small at the time. Then I said, why do you look like you just took a shower? I was sweating profusely after one. And then I had to go like this. And then I tried to stand up. I staggered to my left. Like my left side was very heavy. And then I shouted for checks. I fell to the side, couldn't control, and I just vomited. And I couldn't move. And then eventually after like 30 minutes, checks was like, are you gonna die on us? What's happening? And then nagpapanic na talaga siya. Yeah. And after 30 minutes, I felt a bit stronger. I was able to slide myself from the top floor down the stairs. And then when I went to the hospital, I felt I could stand and everything. But when they saw the MRI, I had a clot in my brain.
Oh gosh.
So if that popped, it would have been a different story. It would have been...
Did they have to drain it?
No more. Because it wasn't that bad. But there was a white spot na. And usually that white spot can become very big.
Yeah.
So if it spreads, you can get... That's when people get paralyzed on one side.
Yeah.
So what they did was they found through a series of tests, they found a hole in my heart, which is congenital. So when you're a kid, you're a baby, malambot yung dito mo.
Oh, yeah.
So eventually it will fuse, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with the heart. They say that 75% of the population closes. But the 25% it never closes, but it's asymptomatic. So if something happens, you deal with it. And it so happened that it was that one time out of all the years, like I played in Ateneo, played all of this, and that happened. And then biglang, yun nangyari. I was saved through advances in technology because if that was 10 years before 2016,
Wala.
crack open my chest.
Yeah.
And that's it, no sports. My faith stems far beyond before the stroke.
Okay.
God is my anchor, Jesus. And I will say that very bluntly because you look at our house, like I couldn't have how. Like you look at my life, my family, my marriage, my kids growing up so responsibly and God-fearing. That's I can't attribute that to me. Who am I? But we've been very intentional with the kids and exposing them to the fruits of the Spirit, being loving, being peaceful, having self-control. And I lead my kids in Bible study. If I do that for the guys, every Sunday, we watch service together and I ask them questions. Because I don't want them to just see, right? I need them to understand. And when they have questions about the Bible, about Jesus, about their faith, I'm open to that. Cheska's open to that. She has one-on-one Bible time with them. And we attribute how we are as a family because of our Bible values. And for me, that's how I am. I've remained faithful to my wife, Cheska, ever since we were boyfriend girlfriend, and that's 2003. I've never went astray. And a lot of basketball players might think that's impossible, and because basketball players, they say babaero and everything, but I said you're more of a man if you can stick to one girl. And for me, I prayed for my wife. And why will I try to compromise that? I prayed for my family. Why will I try and compromise what God has given me, right? So it's about valuing the big blessings, about valuing the small blessings, every single thing, and attribute that it's not because of the work of my hands. It's because God allowed it to happen, right? But it doesn't take away the fact that we still have to do our job, right?
Is it tougher now, given everything that's happening in society out in the world?
Yes, like you have to... especially with social media. Social media can be a good thing because of influence. Social media can be a positive thing. But if you're not careful, if we're not careful, if our kids are not careful, they can be influenced greatly by people who are not supposed to be influencers, right? So I would always tell our kids, right, don't get validation from social media. Like we do it, we share content and everything, but we could care less if we get 1,000 views or 1,000,000 views. We don't care if we get 1,000 likes or 1,000,000 likes. It's more of the message that we want to impart. And if they become so attached to just the pleasures of life through this social media and the influence and peer pressure, then that comes home to how we were as parents in raising them. So it comes back to intentionality of parents. If your kids are being more influenced in social media, then social media is bigger in their life than your parents, right? Than you as parents. So we make sure that we spend not just quality time, but we try to do quantity as well.
In your experience, you've traveled a lot. What made you decide to really just ultimately put roots down in the Philippines?
We love the Philippines, despite the horrible traffic and the corruption. My parents are still here. All my siblings have left for the US and Europe, but it's just different. Like Manila,
it's home.
It's home, man. Like I know we like that we know people and that we can also try to mentor other people, and the hospitality of the Pinoys. And when you go out, see, Cheska made a very good example. When we travel, when you arrive at different countries. The porters, they're nice, or the people that welcome you to the airplane. Pero when you arrive in Manila, yung mga nag-aabang sa'yo, yung mga mahawak ng wheelchair, "Hi sir, welcome back po," ganyan. And then, kailangan nyo pong umupo po dito, sabihan nyo lang kami, ganyan. It's just so parang, oh, that's home. Right? And this is the attitude of the Filipino that makes us so attracted to staying here. Yeah.
Okay, siguro as a last question, what would you tell a kid who wants to get into sports and warn them about adversity and what they should prepare for and learn from it?
It's a good question. There is no easy sport. There is no sport that you will not experience adversity. In fact, adversity builds character.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of people go away from it because they can't handle the pressure, they can't handle adversity. And that's biblical, diba? Consider it joy when you go through troubles and trials. Not because of that, but because it builds character, it builds endurance. And that's the same kind of concept that you bring into sports. So what I would say to the kid is love the sport. Because your dad or your mom can only do so much to put you into a schedule. But it's you that you have to discover within yourself, do I really want to improve? Do I really want to stay in the sport? And if you truly love the sport, everything follows. Because you love the sport, I will go through adversity. Because I love the sport, I will go through the pain of working out every day. I will go through the pain of sacrifice, right? Because like Kendra, she trains every day. Right now after school, she went straight to training. She misses out on friends' time. So that's part of growing up.
Yeah.
So my advice is keep at it. Love the sport first because everything will follow. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
Hello, Basketball Universe PHL. This is Doug Kramer, and I'm inviting you to watch the episode where Bill Velasco interviews me here in the house. And continue to support the channel and Bill. Thank you so much. God bless.
At yan ang Basketball Universe para sa araw na ito. Abangan kami Lunes, Miyerkules at Biyernes sa YouTube at Facebook. Kaya like, share, subscribe at follow na rin. Nais namin pasalamatan ng aming mga sponsor. Smart Sports, Nickel Asia Corporation. Laging tandaan, saan man kayo at anuman ang ginagawa ninyo, magkakampi tayo. Ako si Bill Velasco at ito ang Basketball Universe.